It is day number 10 of Turn It On Again, the Kits Rock Review tribute to the band Genesis. And today we're going to talk about the song Squonk. But to start off, I would like to read to you the beginning of the speech that Chris Martin of Coldplay gave when he inducted Peter Gabriel into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you don't know it, Peter Gabriel has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Once as a member of Genesis in 2010, and once for his solo work in 2014. So, my notes here. This is the beginning of Chris Martin's speech inducting Peter Gabriel into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his solo work. He said, "I don't know how to start my speech, so I remember that as a kid, my mom said, always turn to the Bible for guidance. So with that, I'd like to read to you from the book of Genesis, if that's okay." Quoting the book of Genesis. "It came to pass that at that time an angel of the Lord descended and appeared before Phil the Collins. And Phil the Collins said unto him, Who are you, O angel? The angel replied, I am Gabriel. I bring you this good news. I am going solo. Ye shall be the singer of Genesis now. And Phil that was called Collins was awestruck in the presence of the voice. He replied, How can this be, O angel? I am but a humble drummer. I can't dance. I can't talk. The only thing about me is the way that I walk. The angel replied, Phil of Collins, the Lord has spoken. Have faith. You could lay down a steam train if you just lay down the tracks. Now hasten to the Stu studio." And with that, the angel Gabriel ascended up Salisbury Hill. So that induction speech, not only does it help talk about Peter Gabriel getting into the rock and roll, or going on his solo career, it also sort of talks about the change in singers with Genesis. So Peter Gabriel was the original lead singer of Genesis, as you all know, especially if you're watching this. But in 1974, in the middle of the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway tour, he announced to the band that he was leaving when the tour was over. The band, however, they decided they wanted to carry on. They didn't want to quit. They felt they had a lot to prove, because the focus had been so much on Peter Gabriel that everyone thought they were just his backing band. And they wanted to prove that Genesis was more than just Peter Gabriel's backing band. So when the tour was over, almost immediately they went into the studio and recorded a new album. While they were looking for a new singer, they recorded the album. In fact, they finished the album before they even got a new singer. Well, they finished the instrumentation, recording the instrumentation, before they got a new singer. And supposedly I read that they had 400 audition tapes. Over 400 people auditioned for the lead singer. They did bring in a couple, and it was Phil Collins, because he was always the background vocal singer of the band, and he did sing a few lead vocals on some of the early Genesis albums. But it was his job to teach the recruits, the auditionees, the songs. One guy they brought in was named, let me get my notes here, Mick Stickland, and they were like, we're going to have a song called Squonk. We want you to sing it. So Phil taught him the song, but it turned out that it was too high for his natural vocal range, so he couldn't really sing it. So Phil was like, let me give it a shot. I always sing maybe one or two songs on an album. I'll try this one. So he did. He recorded the vocals to Squonk, and the rest of the band was like, you know what, Phil? That was so good. We're going to make you the lead singer. And Phil reluctantly accepted the job, as you all know, but he still played drums in the studio, and on the tour on tours when he's not singing, he plays drums. So the band then hired some session drummers. Well, not necessarily session drummers. They hired drummers for the tours. One of those drummers, the first drummer they hired to play live with them, was Bill Buford, who was in Yes. And of course, for decades, Chester Thompson was the band's touring drummer. And for those of you who didn't know this, Chester Thompson was in Frank Zappa's band. He's a member of the Mothers of Invention. The current drummer, of course, for Genesis in their live shows is Nick Collins, Phil Collins' son. And so when I go see them at the end of the month, I'm going to see Nick Collins play drums on the tour. Anyway, the song Squonk, which is what got Phil Collins the lead singer job in Genesis, lyrically it's about a mythological creature from North America called a squonk. And a squonk supposedly, they don't really exist, but according to the mythology, it's an ugly creature, misshapen, its skin doesn't fit its body, and it's covered in warts and moles. And some of the literature I read when I was doing this, researching this, said that a squonk is always unhappy because it's an ugly appearance. And it's easy to track because it's always sweating and crying because of its appearance. However, when people try to capture a squonk, it ends up disappearing in a pool of tears. They capture it and it just becomes a pool of tears. And that's basically what the song's about. You'll hear the lyric when you listen to the video I post. It's a pool of tears is what Phil sings. There's another song, believe it or not, that mentions the squonk. If you listen to Steely Dan, they have a song called Any Major Dude with Half a Heart, and they mention a squonk's tears in that song. And as far as I know, that's the only other song that mentions the squonk. If you know of another song that mentions the squonk, let me know in the comments, because I'm happy to listen to some other music. Musically, just so you know, the music for that song was written by Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks. And believe it or not, they were trying to get, with the song Squonk, they were trying to get Genesis to sound like Led Zeppelin, of all things. Two bands that in my head, Led Zeppelin's a great band, Genesis is a great band, but musically, they don't sound a lot alike. Specifically, Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks were trying to get, they wanted to emulate the song Kashmir from Physical Graffiti. So let me know what you think after you watch the video that I post. Does Squonk sound like Kashmir? Let me know. Okay, that's all I have for today. So until tomorrow, you know my usual advice. Keep on rocking in the free world, and I'll see you later.